All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of Saber Sims DFS Office Hours. It is Thursday, August 31st of 2023 here. Last day of August. Tomorrow is indeed September 1st, which means NFL regular season is going to be back here in September. But looking ahead, we have a 3-game MLB main slate today. We have an 11-game college football main slate. Is officially week 1, kind of calling last week 0 here. So it's officially start of college football here. And then we had a 27-game tennis match kickoff earlier today as well. Excuse me here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andrew. This is a show where we go over how to use the SaberSim app, answer any and all DFS related questions. Get your questions in one of 3 ways. First way, send us an email, support@sabersim.com. Second way, post it live in the YouTube chat, or 3, post it in the Office Hours channel in our Discord server. If you're not in our Discord and want to get access to that channel, there is a link in the description below. Also get access to our similar channels, individual sport channels as well. Quick announcement, we do the show Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, like I always say. Tomorrow, Jordan is going to be hosting. You guys will have Jordan for a special show tomorrow. And then Monday, we will be off for the holiday. And then we will be right back Tuesday, which would be 2 days ahead of the first game of NFL Week 1. So it should be a ton of fun here. But with that being said, going to get the app pulled up. And no questions via support. So it looks like we are going to jump right into questions from the Office Hours channel. So quick one here from J. Sams Jr. Question says, how can you find the players with the highest chance of hitting a home run or stealing a base? Also, I just wanted to thank you and the SaberSim team for all your hard work and dedication. Y'all have done a great product. SaberSim rocks. Thank you for the kind words. And yes, so if you guys are on the pro plan or the ultimate plan and you go to all batters here, and then you just scroll over to the side, you're going to see all these detailed stats. You can just sort by whatever column you're looking for. So if I want to see the player who on average hits the most home runs in the Sims for today, I could sort descending by any of these columns. So I would say that Jorge Soler in our Sims has the highest chance of hitting a home run. And then for stolen bases, similar thing here, just sort by stolen bases. And then you will see that CJ Abrams has the most stolen bases on average. So that is how I would find out that information. But good, quick one to get us started today. Next question here from the piano teacher. Question says, if we choose a preloaded build to run the contest sims against, and we also change some player projections, do those projections have any effect on the dummy lineups or only our lineups, and how the sim grades out the contest? Okay, so this is a really interesting question here. So one thing here, right, is when we're talking about contest sim, so when we go to our settings, we go to our contest sim settings, what you are going to do is you are going to select field lineups to sim against, or what you could do is, like, if you have outside lineups that you want to use, you could right click any of these workspaces, upload a pool here, and then you could choose this pool to simulate your contest against, right? So when you make projection adjustments, so the projection adjustments here are going to affect the sims that we run, that we basically grade the sim from. So what we're doing is we are taking the field lineups, we are taking each one of your lineups, and then we are simulating it 150,000 or 100,000 times, and then returning you ROI, cash weight, win rate, etc. here, right? And then we're doing that for each lineup in your build. So if you have 5,000 lineups, we are going to do that 100,000 times for each of the 5,000 lineups. So very, very computational heavy there, but projection adjustments have no effect on the field lineups. And actually, even ownership adjustments also have no effect on the field lineup. So if you are selecting, let's say low stakes MME here, if you were to come in to your build and adjust the projections, so if I go to ownership and then I go to the gear icon and I go to low stakes MME here, you can see what the ownership projections are for these players. If I adjust these, this isn't going to change the field lineups. This is just going to change these values, which in turn affect any sorting metric that uses these, such as Saber score, such as some ownership, etc. here, right? if you wanted to have a more hand in the dirt approach, I guess, with these ownership values, what you can do here is you could set up all your basically custom ownership at this point, and then when you click the gear icon, you could use match exposure to ownership. So you are going to use this option, and then what it's going to do is going to get this pop-up, and then it's going to say set min exposure to X% below ownership, and then set max exposure to X% above ownership. And then those numbers will get populated in your min and max exposure fields. And then you would run a build here. And then now that you ran a new build, you could open up a new workspace and then build your actual lineups. And then when you go to select the field lineups, you would just select the build one here, which is the build that you ran for like your custom ownership here, right? So if you guys are going to use custom ownership, or you want to adjust ownership and have those reflected in the contest sim, you're going to have to basically create lineups and then go to your build, create your lineups, and then sim against the build that you created for what you're saying is the new field lineup. So that is how you do that there. And then that is the effect that those things have. So if you wanted to upload custom ownership and custom projections, then use the match exposures to ownership and then run a build, that would be one way to have your projections taken into account, right? So if you're going to upload custom projections, you want those to have an effect. You're basically better off building your own set of field lineups, but we make it pretty easy for you here. All right, next question here. Question says, one more question, if it's okay to ask two. And yes, it is definitely okay to ask two. Once we build our lineups, is there a way to download our player exposures so we can work with that data in a spreadsheet? When I download after building, it has the projections and ownership data, but not exposures from the build. So I did respond to the piano teacher and just let them know that the exposures and pool exposures are not available in the download, but I did take that back to the team as a feature request, just so you guys are all aware. If you guys have ideas or different things that come up, we do have a wish list channel in the Discord. You can post it there, or you can just mention it to me and I'm happy to take it back to the team for you guys here. So the more times a certain idea comes up, the more I can push to have that prioritized. All right, next question in the Office Hours channel from Scion Gaines. Question says, is there a way to target specific teams in MLB DraftKings? I have put a higher percentage and can't seem to get those two teams in a build together. Is there a rule that does this? Okay, so good question here. In the classic version, we had this feature where you could like have the teams and then you could open up a drop down and be like SD plus LAD, SD plus MIA. That functionality has not made its way back into the new app here. So TBD if that is ultimately going to happen. But if you wanted to say I want to use Miami and San Diego, what I can do is just create a group rule here. So if I go to add new rule, like if you know this is what you want, then you can just build it, right? So then what I would say is use. So two ways to do this. You can do this with two stacking rules, and you would just have to know who you want as your primary stack. So maybe I want Miami as my primary stack. And I know I want a 5 stack. So I'm going to say use at least 5. And then I'm going to change the eligible teams to only Miami. And then I am going to save that rule. And then I'm going to create a second stacking rule here. And then I'm going to say use at least 2. Maybe I'm open to 5 2s, 1s, or 5 3s. If you say at least, it'll give you that optionality here. And then I'm going to say use at least 2 from San Diego, changing that eligible team. So now I'm opening myself up to 5 2s or 5 3s, where Miami is the primary stack and San Diego is the secondary stack. If you don't want to have 100% of your lineups have this combination, then you could use a group if-then rule. So change use to if, and then I'm going to say if at least, and then we're going to say, let's say 3. So if at least 3 players from a team are used, then I want to use at least 3 players from another team, wait. If at least 3, then use at least 3 Okay, so this is saying the same team, opposing team, same game. Ooh, okay. So I might have not been able to do the rule like I thought here. So just do the stacking rule, and that will work better for you. Tried to give you guys a couple options here, but ran into some issues. All right. I asked Snowman about a question here. So he says, is there any way in the NFL build where you can change it saying I want to do 75% of a build? So I asked him like to elaborate a little bit there, but haven't got a response. So Snowman, if you see that, let me know and I can help answer your question. Snowman said, "What's your real name?" And then Neil said, "And your social security number too, please." Oh man, you guys cracked me up here. All right. Jumping over to the YouTube chat. First question from Daniel said, "Good morning. I'm having issues when running late swap MLB. I think I am doing the late swap build correctly, but I keep getting errors when I submit to DK. Thanks in advance." Okay, so if you guys want to late swap, before late swap used to be under the settings in the build settings, and it used to be up in the top right corner. It has moved, and it has moved to the contest tab. So if you have lineups uploaded for this slate here, it's going to be right here in the top right under the lineups option on the right. It'll say late swap. So basically, when you click late swap, what is going to happen is it is going to open up a new workspace next to your existing workspaces, and then it's just going to call it swap. So if you have like build 1, build 2, you would get swap 1. And then from the swap 1 tab here, if I go into any of these ones where I have lineups already. So in build 1, I have lineups. So you'll see a similar window, just like a normal workspace, but then you're going to get this big green tab and it's going to say download new entries. So instead of, filling your contest and then going to the download arrow next to the slate information, you're just going to have this big download new entries option here. And then you will click that and then upload that to the site. So that is like the general workflow for late swap here. If you're having issues with that workflow, go to the hamburger menu in the top right, just use the report a problem link, and then send us a brief description with what you are having issues with, and then our team will look into it and then reach back out to you. All right. I see a couple questions from Jason here. Going to hit these together. Jason said, "Hello, I'm having issues uploading lineups for FanDuel. Thanks for the help." And then said, "Also, how do I find exposures in the build screen?" So to find exposures, when you populate lineups, the lineups end up taking up some of the space here for the table. So all you have to do is go to the bar down on the bottom. I'll just show it here. So get rid of that comment here. And then there's this scroll bar down on the bottom. You can just scroll side to side. And then if you just scroll over, you're going to see exposure, and then you're going to see pool as 2 columns here. And then secondly, said I'm having issues uploading lineups for FanDuel. So where I would go to help you out with this is go to our help docs up in the top right corner, go to help. This will pop up our support library here. And from our support library, we're going to have tutorials about 1, how to fill your entries, 2, uploading it to the sites. We should have some mobile tutorials coming out very soon as well. But I would start with this how to fill your entries tutorial. This will show you, just the right steps to do in SaberSim, and then go from there. So FanDuel can be a little funky because you have to go to the upcoming tab, and then you have to go to the CSV edit button, and then that will open up a new pop-up where you will upload your entries. One thing that you can do in SaberSim here is in the top right, toggle on this open DFS site on download. This will take you as close to the right place to upload your entries as possible. So on DraftKings, this will take you like exactly to the page you need to go. But on FanDuel, it will take you to the upcoming tab, and then you will just have to click the CSV edit button. So this option will take you exactly where you need to go to help you get most of the way there. So toggle on that option should help you out. All right. Pope looks like he had a little success last night. Congratulations, Pope. Scrolling down here, another question from Pope said, "Can you show us a walkthrough process for college football tonight? I'm playing some small lines tonight." Okay, so yes. So for those of you guys who aren't aware, we are supporting college football now. We do have Sims as of this season. A big shout out to our data scientist, Eric, for putting that all together. If you guys want to hear Eric talk about it a little bit and get some ideas of where to start for your college football process, check out this 30-minute video on our YouTube channel. This is under playlists, how to beat college football DFS here. go to view full playlist, and then you will see this video, how our play-by-play college football DFS simulations work. Eric is a very, very sharp college sports DFS player in general. I know he crushes college basketball as well, college football. He's very, very good. You should see ET phone home in a lot of your contests here. So watch this video. Eric's going to be able to give you a lot more tips than I'm going to be able to give you here. All right, pulling SaberSim back up, scrolling down here. A similar question from Demetrius: is there a college football DFS tutorial for tonight's slate? Just refer to that video that I just showed on the screen. And then this is our last question at the moment here from James. We have a couple from James. Question said, could you show how you would contest sim something like Skipper? Just want to make sure I am doing it right. Thank you. You just set the contest sims to single entry 1 to 1,000 and set the settings I think are appropriate. Okay, so I don't know what the Skipper is, but if I didn't know, we have this really cool way to figure it out now. So for DraftKings specifically here, if you go to all contests on the left-hand side of the contest tab, we are pulling in DraftKings contests here. One awesome thing is that you can actually click on any of these contests and it will take you directly to the site where you could enter from. So if I wanted to come in here, I can right click on any of these fields here at the column headers, and then I can search for Skipper, and boom, there it is. So now I know what the Skipper is. The Skipper is a $25 single entry tournament. So entry fee $25, max entries 1, and then I get the percent to first percentage. I also get the cash percentage here, and then I also get the contest size. So basically, what I would do is just take these inputs here and just, write them down, take a quick screenshot, and then put them into your contest sim settings here. So I'm just going to take a quick screenshot of these here. So I have it on my screen, and I'm going to go back to build 1 here. I'm going to go to my contest sim settings, and then I'm going to go to add contest sim. I'm just going to, I usually just put the dollar amount here to make my life easy. Being a $25, how do I know whether it's flagship, high stakes, low stakes, medium stakes? We make that information available for you in this little eye icon under field lineups. So if you hover over it, it says our field lineups entry fees are generally broken down like this. Low stakes is $3 and under. Flagship is $4 to $30. Medium stakes is $30 to $100. And then high stakes is $100 or more in entry fees. So check those out. And that'll give you a good starting point. So for this $25, I would classify this as a flagship single entry here. And then I would just put my contest size, 188 entries in my contest, percent to first, 12.5, cash percent, 21.3. And then the default is 50,000. I always like to increase this to the max, which the number of sims max is 100,000 per contest sim. And then just remember, you can set up to 5 of these and run them all simultaneously. So if I had 5 contests here, I would put them all in together, and then I could run my contest sim, and then all of them will finish simultaneously. I've been seeing these finish in somewhere between 30 to 60 seconds here. So pretty fast overall. But that is how you would set that up. I think the all contests tab is super useful here. We're actually going to be adding some functionality very soon to where you can create a contest sim from here. That way you don't have to write that information down, carry it over. You're just going to be able to basically right click on this field here, and then you'll get like an add contest sim option. So something we're working on should make everybody's life a little easier for setting up contest sims. And so looking forward to that functionality. Pope said, do you input the exact percentage or round up or down to the nearest whole percent for the cash in contest sim? So usually just 1 decimal place is what I'll do here. So whatever we have in the app is what I'll do. So 20.7 instead of like 20.75, I'll just do point to the 0.1 decimal place. All right, jumping back to Office Hours channel. Sion said, when I ran the rule that the way I said it, I got an error and it doesn't build anything with just selecting 2 teams. Okay, so let me try it on my end. And if it doesn't work, then I will take it back to the team and see why that is not working. So I have these 2 rules that we built here. And then I just have the, I'm going to do the 1 team selected here. So just do Miami. and then go to my 2-stack, make sure I have just San Diego here, save those, and then I am going to build a fresh set of lineups here. Just build 500 lineups. If you guys have a lineup set and you guys want to rerun the build here, all you have to do is go to this little play icon. If you hover over it, it'll say build lineups. It will give you a pop-up saying building lineups again will cause all of your previous lineups to be discarded. You will not be able to recover them. If you'd like to retain these lineups, create a new build or send your lineups to favorites before building lineups again. So the reason that we did this is because if you need to rerun lineups, you are probably not satisfied with your current set of lineups, right? So there's really no reason to have them, right? I think a lot of people would run a build, go back to the home screen, run a new build in the old SaberSim, and then you would just have all these builds that you don't really need, that you're not using anymore. So we're trying to streamline the process by just allowing you to overwrite the build of the lineup set that you have with your new inputs, right? Maybe you were adjusting minimax exposures and you ran into an unable to meet exposures message. Well, now you can just re-kick off the lineups with these inputs already here and then get lineups that look more like what you wanted them to look like in the first place. But anyways, Cyan, I am seeing the same error that you saw here. So I will make a note to the team, or I will make a note and take it back to the team here. So error with stack rules, and I will figure out what is going on there. In the meantime, what you could do here, let's try a different way, is just create two manual rules, group rules here. So I don't want to leave you high and dry. So I would just go to group manual, and then I would say use at least 5. And then I would just go to Miami. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the team icon. I'm going to go to team. I'm going to go to all batters here. And then I am just going to click in their 1 through 9 batters here. And then I'm going to say use at least 5. So I'm saying use 5 out of the 9 Miami players, save that rule. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing for San Diego here. And I'm going to say use at least 2. And then I'm going to undo my filter, go to San Diego. And then I'm going to click in their 9 players here. And then we will check to make sure that this rule is working. That way you have something to work with. So now I have my 2 group rules. I'm going to check my build settings. Everything looks fine. Going to build lineups here. And then this should indeed work. So drum roll, please. All right, lineups are generating. We will just get into the post build, make sure this works, but I do believe this is going to work as intended. And then just one other thing for you guys, maybe you're building, 10 lineups here and you just want a subset of these lineups to be this way. So like maybe you're doing a 20 max and you're like, hey, I want 10 of my lineups to be this Miami San Diego stack. And it looks like it's working correctly here. I'm seeing 5 2s. So what you can do is set the rule in this build 1, make your lineups, and then change your number of lineups at the top to 10. So my lineups equals 10, and then send these to favorites. And then what's going to happen? This favorites tab is going to turn green, the little star, and then you're going to be able to click into here. Now those 10 lineups that you built are in here in favorites. So then I go to build 2 here, and then I'm going to uncheck those rules that I had. So I'm going to make sure that I don't have any rules active. I'm going to build my other 10 lineups with SaberSim defaults or however I want to build them. Once these 10 lineups are built, I send those to favorites as well. I will have 20 lineups in this favorites tab, and then I can save them all to contests at the same time. So this is how you build different game scripts or different ideas about a slate and then combine them all into a single contest. So we added this functionality. Just want to make sure everybody knows that it is here and how it works. All right. Next question from Sammy in the Office Hours channel. Question says, is there a way to run metrics that correlate between ownership and points projected? So you could create a custom metric that has both of those variables. So if you want to, use some type of custom metric where it is accounting for both of those things, you could definitely do that. So I would do a custom metric. I would go to, my projection, whatever you want, right? My projection, some value, maybe you're using the actual value, which is whatever that number comes out to. And then you're adding a second variable with this add variable option. And then you're going my own some value. And then maybe that you are doing a a negative weight on ownership, right? You're like, hey, I want to do high projection, but then I want to do a negative weight on ownership, right? So then maybe I do a negative 0.5 weight. That way, if lineups have a high ownership, they actually get a little bit taxed, right? And they get pushed down, and then lineups with lower ownership don't get hurt as much. So then those stay toward the top of the pool, and then I would just save that here. But probably some custom metric with those two variables will be a good starting point. All right, Sion Gaines said, thank you. Enjoy the holiday. Yeah, man, you too, 100%. All right, next question here from Zoo York in Office Hours channel. Question says, if I'm using SaberSim Optimizer, how can I upload randomness? Great question. So if I go, let's go to back to build 2 here. So first things first, change build mode. Right, there's two options, sim mode, optimizer mode. When it's set to the left, it's on sim mode. When it's set to the right, it's on optimizer mode. So first thing you need to do, move it to optimizer mode, and then you're going to see this randomness option. What you can do is click on this add randomness button, and then, interesting, I thought we had a custom option here to upload randomness. Okay, it says, use this option if you want to upload a custom value for each player's range of values. You can do this the same way you upload projections or ownership. Okay, so let's jump over to normal. So change method to normal here. And then under type, we have SaberSim type, custom, or global. Go to custom here and then select source. Okay, so then it looks like what you would do is upload this as custom data. So then what I would do here is go to upload, and then I would basically upload a column, right? And then when I would do the column, I would make sure the dropdown is add custom column here. And then when I would add my custom column, I would make sure that this says whatever I wanted to say. So I could say randomness. And then basically you're going to name it. You're going to save it. What's going to happen is that custom data is going to populate as a column here. And then from there, see how it says no custom data uploaded in this dropdown? So basically, once you upload that custom data as a column, then you will be able to select it from this dropdown. So go to upload, go to, upload a CSV, copy and paste it. However, make sure that you do add custom column. It'll generate as a column here. Then from this source option, you could select your randomness column. So that is how you would upload randomness to the new SaberSim here. All right, jumping back to the YouTube chat. Question from Kent said, question, if I want to set a rule in college football that if I have at least 4 quarterbacks or wide receivers on the same team, then I do not want any running backs from the same team in the flex or super flex. So yes, you could definitely do that option. And really quickly, before I demonstrate that, Zurich followed up, said, I don't have that option. Do I need to upgrade my membership? It's very possible. So if I go to my account, okay, so standard plan, these are like the tools that you get or the features. If you look under pro, it says upload custom data. So it looks like you have to be on the pro plan to upload that custom data, which is your randomness here. So great thing is that if you go here, you can check these out for a 5-day free trial and see if it is what you like. So if you're on the standard plan, you should have a green option here that says start a trial or upgrade to pro trial or something like that. So check it out and see if you like it. All right. Zurich said, thanks. Yeah, man. Happy to help out. Okay. Getting back to this college football example here. So going to all slates, going to college football, going to the main slate tonight. So the rule that we're looking for is if I have at least 4 quarterbacks or wide receivers in total from the same team, then don't use any running backs from the same team. So what I would do here, go to lineup rules, go to add new rule, go to group. I'm going to try to do this as an aggregate rule. I'm sorry, as a automatic rule. So let's see if we can do this. So I'm going to say if at least, I'm going to say 4, and then I'm going to group by team here. I'm going to only check quarterbacks or wide receivers. Then I'm going to say, do not use any running backs from the same team. So if at least 4 quarterbacks or wide receivers, then use, and I'm going to change this to exactly 0. And then I'm going to say on the same team, and then I'm going to leave running backs checked. So what will happen is now the rule says if at least 4 quarterbacks or wide receivers from a team are used, then use exactly 0 running backs from the same team. And then this sounds like the rule that you wanted here. So I'm just going to remove that comment so you can see the rule, pause the video, and then rewrite this rule on your SaberSim for your lineups here. So I believe that this should get you what you want. If it's not, if you need a couple tweaks, this is a great starting point. This is going to be exactly pretty much like the baseline rule here, and then you can tweak it as necessary. One great thing here that I do want to point out is that if you save this rule as a manual rule here, you're going to get a rule for each team on the slate. Say that there's like a specific rule, a specific team where you look at that team and you're like, you know what, I think this team is an exception to the rule, right? You could save it as a manual rule, and then you could just delete it for that one team. So maybe Arkansas here, I think Arkansas is a little bit different in their personnel, and they could get by allowing this rule, right? Maybe they have a really pass catching back, just somebody like like I'm not super familiar with college, but maybe like a more like Christian McCaffrey type, right? If the Niners are passing, well, usually Christian McCaffrey is involved in that passing game, right? So like, hey, this guy's very versatile, catches a lot of passes. I don't want to use the rule for that guy. I can just delete it for this one team, and then it will stay for all the other teams here. So that's the one really good thing I like about this manual rule option. Instead of having all these hard and fast rules, you get to build in some of those exceptions to the rule, right? So like say for NBA, if you're somebody who's using a rule that says, no more than 3 players from one team, but Golden State is sitting everybody on their starting 5. Well, maybe I want to allow more than 3 for Golden State in this one instance, right? And then you could do it as a manual rule, delete the rule for Golden State, and then boom, now you've allowed the exception to the rule to be an option in your lineups. It's not guaranteed that it's going to be built in, but you're allowing SaberSim to if the Sims, back up that lineup construction, you're allowing it to be put into your pool here. So just some thoughts for you guys there. All right. Next question here from James. He said, where do you get to the field lineup setting? I'm assuming I have the right plan. So if you have this contest sim setting option here, just click this. And then if you're running contest sims, this field lineups is where you will select what lineups you are going to be simulating against. So we have 13 ownership buckets for MLB. We're planning on having the same for NFL and NBA here. For some of these other more niche sports, we're just going to have one set of ownership here like we do for college football. All right. Sammy said, cool, thanks. Is there a way to set that by position? So not 100% sure what this is referring to. If this is referring to the college football rule example that I just did, then yes, you can do this by position here. So just use these position icons here and then just check the ones you want and then uncheck the ones that you don't want. All right. Last question at the moment here from Scion Gaines. If anybody has any last questions, now's a great time to get those in. But question says, on the pro version of the plan, what is lineup flashback? So this is a great question. So if you go to contests, I showed you guys how you can see the current contests and, use the information for your contest sims and how you can even enter your lineups from here. Like these will take you directly to where you need to enter. One thing that you can also do is you can go back to past slates now. So if I want to go back to Saturday's slate, this 5-game college football slate here, I can see the DraftKings contest, and then I can see all of the information about the slate. So if I go back to contest, these are going to be the contests after they're done. After they're done, you're going to get this review column with this eye icon. So I can click into any of these, right? So maybe I want to go and look at the flagship contest. So I'm going to click into this $15 flagship contest here. I'm going to close this pane now. And then the lineups are going to populate that users played. And then 2, I can go and see all of the all of the exposures for the entire contest. So these are basically the ownership projections at this point. Like, hey, these guys were owned at this rate. I could see what teams everybody stacked, what type of stacks everybody played here, which I don't know why the stack exposure isn't populating. That's a little interesting. I think it's because it's super flex and you could do more than one quarterback here. But if I want to go to users, right, maybe I want to go see what ET Phone Home played, right? So I'm going to right click on username and then I'm going to go to ET Phone Home. And then this is Eric, who did the college football model who is in that YouTube video that I showed you guys. And then I can go and see how Eric did, right? So looks like Eric did not have a profitable day. So lost money on the day. And this is just something that I do want to exemplify to you guys. Even players entering 150 lineups, playing the most volume, still have like a minus 80% ROI day is still very much within the range of possibilities here. But it really only takes that one bink to cover all of these losses and then make you a profitable player, right? So I remember last year, Eric binked on the first day of college football for like 50K. And then, this year he had a minus 80% ROI on the first day here, right? So just the start of the season, but you could, look at this information. You could even zone in on him specifically. Like, hey, if I filter for him, now I can go see what players he played, what were his exposures, what teams did he stack the most of, et cetera here, right? So this is a good way to, review these contests and see what the top players are playing, what you're playing. Also here, I believe what you can do is if I unselect him, or even if I do select him, so we also are simulating out the contest. So based on the contest data that we get, we're saying, hey, who had the highest actual ROI here? Who did we believe should have the highest ROI based on our sims, right? So sim average profit is going to be a good one. So Garns 222 graded out really well. Eric graded out really well. Shady Advice graded out really well. Some of that is, probably because they're using our sims as well, right? So they agree with some of those inputs here. But interesting to see some of these names up here, right? You see Brick 75, you see Will Reformed Racer here at 52 entries, right? So a lot of options here. Fear the Turtle, a very popular niche sport user here, or DFS player is rather the right term, but making his rounds on some of the podcasts. So if you're interested in listening to him, I believe he's on Lowell's and the Takecast. But yeah, great ways to chop this up and look at this information here. So check it out if you guys are interested. But that is basically a big walkthrough of contest flashback here for you guys. All right. Question from Clay. Clay said, how can I set the max exposure to 35% for players here? So we used to have this global max exposure option here in the app. It was a build setting here that got moved with this new update. It's actually not. Oh, I think it is back maybe. So it's going to be a new option under max exposure. If you go to max exposure, you're going to be able to right click and then you're going to be able to set it to 30. I don't think that's working at the moment. This is just like a filter, but the global max exposure is returning to the app. So just be aware. We will have that information in our release notes. If you guys are in our Discord, every time we do an update, bug fixes, whatever, we summarize that information in the release notes in our Discord. Samuel said, not the college football one, but the metric one, ownership projections one. Sorry, thanks. Oh, okay, man. Yeah, no worries. All right. Fred said, on the lineup review, it will be biased towards people playing SaberSim projection lineups, right? It's great. Even so, just wondering also if I use outside projections, will that be reflected in the simulated lineups, or is it all just based on SaberSim lineups? Thanks. Okay. Yes. So that's kind of what I was alluding to here. Okay. So to take a step back. So when you build lineups, right, if you are using contest sims, we are accounting for your custom projections. If you make adjustments to projections and then run your contest sim, the contest sims that we run are going to have your projections accounted for. And then that will be reflected in your sim ROI, in your cash rate, in your win rate, et cetera here, right? When you're going to line up flashback here, the sim ROIs that you see for the users, et cetera here, those are all going to be based on our raw sim. So your custom projections are not being accounted for in the sim ROI in contest flashback. That's all of our raw sim projections, data, et cetera here. All right. Zooyork said, is flashback available for FanDuel and Yahoo? So not yet. We did want to roll this out for DraftKings first. Frankly, I think that it was probably just a little easier to do for DraftKings. Not to say that it was easy at all. Don't want to, downplay the work that our engineers did to get this all up and running here. But we do want to support all sites in the future. So stay tuned for more on that. All right. We are all caught up with questions at the moment. Appreciate everybody tuning in here and asking questions live. I really appreciate you guys. We will be right back here tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, for our Friday show to be our last show of the week before the long holiday. And just remember that Jordan will be on tomorrow. So if you guys have questions for Jordan, want to chop it up with him and haven't seen him in a while and pick his brain, tomorrow is going to be the day to do that. So get your questions in early. Post questions live in the YouTube chat. You can post them ahead of the stream, or you can post questions in the Office Hours channel as well. So until tomorrow, take care. Good luck. I'll see you guys. Thanks. Bye.